Man, I'm just 27 years and I got diagnosed as a type 2 diabetic. What do I do? This was the panicked call I received last evening. I'm Parimala Jaggesh, a nutritionist, a diabetes educator, and the founder of Alami Rap Nutrition. These sort of calls, the frequency has increased by leaps and bounds in the last couple of years. Youngsters, hardly 23, 24 are getting diagnosed as pre-diabetic, as type 2 diabetics. In fact, most of them don't even have any signs and symptoms. They normally reach out to us for weight loss, and when we do the rest of the tests, then they get diagnosed as pre-diabetic. Wow, what is happening? This video is all about the signs, the symptoms you would have to look out for to check if you unknowingly are becoming a type 2 diabetic. So first of all, what is diabetes? So as we all know, there are commonly two types of diabetes, type 1, type 2, and today in this video, I'm concentrating on type 2 diabetes. Now this type 2 diabetes is a situation where your body is not efficiently utilizing the insulin that is being produced. So either due to insulin resistance or because the insulin insufficient amount is getting released, there is this imbalance and the blood sugars, the carbohydrates you consume as food, the byproduct, the sugars, do not enter into the cells where it gives the cells the energy it requires. What are the main causes for this type 2 diabetes? In fact, you will be shocked to realize that most of the time, type 2 diabetes is within your control. When you don't do lifestyle changes, when you don't bother with physical activity, when you don't make informed choices regarding your food intake, you are crawling. No, I would rather say hopping, skipping and jumping towards type 2 diabetes. Youngsters, stress, your work pressure, the deadlines you have to meet, all this also contributes to you becoming a type 2 diabetic. Lack of sleep is a major contributor towards becoming a type 2 diabetic. How can we do all these things under control? What can we do to get all these things under control? How can we lead a stress-free life? Sounds impossible, but when you look at the bigger picture, do you want to make lifestyle changes now? Or do you want to become a type 2 diabetic? Don't you think that the former is better? So let me help you out. Let me tell you, first of all, what are the few symptoms you would have to look out for to be called a type 2 diabetic? Anyone, I always recommend first have a master checkup. Start your master checkups at the age of 21. If everything is fine, great. In case it's varied a bit, you would have to watch out for wherever there are some issues in your health. Other than that, the major symptoms is, we all know these common symptoms, right? Excessive thirst, excessive urination, unwanted weight loss, where in a short period of time, you have not done any major drastic fad diet. Still, if you continue losing weight, then yes, there is something wrong. In case you have repetitive urinary tract infections, in case you have a small wound that doesn't heal, if you have blurred vision, if you've just had your food and within few minutes, maybe just half an hour or 45 minutes, you feel really hungry. And in spite of eating so much, you're feeling tired. All these are symptoms to watch out for. you could be a diabetic. So how do we understand, are you really a diabetic? Blood test is the way to go. Connect with your doctor, identify, do the required tests, and in case you are just a pre-diabetic. What does a pre-diabetic mean? You are still not into a full-blown diabetic stage where you need medications. Trust me, this is the best time to do lifestyle changes. In case you're already a type 2 diabetic, even you have hope. Did you know that almost 80 to 85% of type 2 diabetics can reverse their way back from medications if they do only these following changes I'm going to tell you? Interested to know what those changes are? Very simple. In case you're overweight or obese, losing just 10% of your weight will ensure you can reverse your way back from diabetes. Lifestyle changes. We know it's a common fact. Anything white, let it be processed food, let it be white rice, white bread, things that are white, where all the complex carbs have been stripped away, the fiber has been stripped away, has loads and loads of added sugar. We know we have to stay away from that. Do we have to give it up totally? No, balance is the key. And yes, I will be talking about these changes in my future videos. Youngsters, I do understand it's really difficult for you guys to not be stressed. The competition level is so high. Yes, you are always at the tip, but by being stressed, when the body releases cortisol hormones, it completely makes your body go haywire. So, being aware that the more stressed you are, the more cortisol that gets released, the more your body is going to lose out its health, don't you think you should take the step to control your stress? So what do? I understand, maybe deep breathing, you don't like it, it's not for you. Okay, find what suits you. Listening to music, find some me time, at least 15-20 minutes per day, where you just sit back, relax, do what gives you happiness. Watch something which makes you laugh. Is it going to be a binge watching of Friends series? Do that, but ensure you remain stress-free. Try to get your stress under control. Sleep. I know you start watching a Netflix series, it goes on and on and on. And by the time you realize the entire night is gone, no. Quality sleep is important. You might think, I just missed out one night of the sleep and the next day, entire day I slept. It doesn't work like that. The body doesn't work like that. We have something called a circadian rhythm, and once that goes haywire, it automatically makes you put on weight, which in turn makes you become a diabetic. So kindly ensure you have 7 to 8 hours of good quality sleep. Physical activity. So busy. Where can we do physical activity, ma'am? No excuse. Out of 24 hours, can't you take out 30 minutes for yourself? Even the 30 minutes, break it into two. 15 minutes in the morning, 15 minutes at evening. It's boring to do treadmill. Don't do treadmill. Who's asking you to do only treadmill? Dance. Put some music. You like dance? Dance. You like yoga? Do yoga. Do any form of physical activity, but the key is consistent. At least 30 minutes every day. So, no excuse. Even if it's raining outside, at home, do something to keep yourself physically active. And the last but the most important point is, once you've been diagnosed as a pre-diabetic or a type 2 diabetic, you would have to ensure regular blood glucose monitoring is a must. That is the key to ensure you don't have other future complications. I do understand glucometer is the way to go, but do you also know that right now technology has improved to such an extent? One finger prick one blood glucose reading, what you were getting. Now, we have something called a CGM, a continuous glucose monitor. This tiny sensor on my arm, this stays on my arm for 2 weeks. It gives me around 1400 blood glucose readings. Yes, 1400 blood glucose readings. So, these readings are in a form of graph. It very clearly shows me what happens to the food I eat. For example, before this video, I just had a couple of idlis with lots of vegetable sagu. And now, when I keep my reader, when I keep my phone, it shows the reading whether my idli suited my body. Because do you know, every single person's reaction to food is different. At home, if there are couple of diabetics, please check it out. In your place, if there are 2 diabetics, ensure that they have the same food at the same time. So maybe, let's say lunch at 1 o'clock, they've had 2 parathas, both the people at home. Post 2 hours, when you have a glucometer reading check, both their readings will be different. This shows that every single morsel of food you take is different for every single person. So, smartness in diabetes management lies in using the latest in technology, and the things in your home are ancient cooking wisdom. When we combine both, you can be healthy. Today, an example for this is me. Yes, it's been 30 years since I've been diagnosed as a type 2 diabetic, and I can very proudly say, compared to when I was 24 years, now at 54, I'm much more healthy. Who says being diagnosed as a type 2 diabetic means the end of life and living? You're just 27 years old. So remember, being diagnosed as a type 2 diabetic does not mean the end of life and living. It actually means you're being given a chance to set right your life and to be as healthy as possible with the advancement in science and technology and the guidance of people like us who are there to guide you. Thank you.